Hi, today we're going to do the assembly of an XLR cable. I hope this helps everybody, just in case if you are dedicated into audio, pro audio, music, anything to do with the music industry, audio industry. You may have encountered these XLR connectors, which are usually for microphones. They have various applications. They usually for instrument or microphone. DI boxes, mixers, snakes usually use these types of connectors. Some audio interfaces also use XLR connectors, which will be like this. I will do another video explaining how XLR cables work and why are they so efficient and preferred in the audio industry, in the pro audio industry. Okay, so what we first need is we're gonna have to get these two connectors, which is a male and a female XLR connectors, which you know they plug in together. You need one in each end of the cable. These are Pro L. I will leave the link so that you can purchase them. They usually sell them in pairs, so that's the first thing you will need. We will need a microphone cable. Specifically, it has to be a microphone cable, 2 poles, and a shield mesh. I will show you in a minute what this looks like from the inside. It's different than an instrument cable, so you really need to get a professional mic cable. This tutorial will also help you in case you have an XLR cable that is not working. Sometimes these connectors are the ones that get damaged. If you need to replace them or just solder under the terminals, I will show you how to do that. It's pretty easy, it's not that hard. So once you have the cable, you can also purchase a cable, wire, however you want to call it. And if you want to make your own XLR cables, you can buy a whole bunch of cable and then just make, if in case you need to make a lot of them. Other things you will need is solder. You will need some solder. You will need a soldering iron so that we can solder the cable to the connectors. Other tools will be an X-Acto knife. You could have some cutters, pliers, and if you have one of these, which is a cable stripper, it's also okay. It depends on what you got at hand, but usually you can do it with the X-Acto or with the cutters. It's not that hard, so I will show you how everything gets done in the next steps. Okay, so we're gonna begin to strip the cable. I would suggest around 1 inch. I'll do this with the cable stripper so you can see how this thing works. You just put it in and as you can see, we can just strip it that easy. After this, we need to be careful when we're stripping it, because we don't want this mesh to be cut. So what we're going to begin to do is I'm going to get this mesh out of the way. I'm going to put it aside, and as you can see, underneath there are 2 poles, which is a black and a red. There's also some kind of strand that helps the cable tension. Whenever you pull a cable, it'll help it to not ruin. So this we're gonna cut away, and the copper mesh, which is the shield of the cable, we're gonna just pull it back, and whenever we're gonna get the connector, that'll have to go into 1 pin 2. So we just put it aside, and we're gonna go ahead and cut these. Okay, so now that we got it like this, we are also going to need to strip these 2, the red one and the black one. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This would be, you need a little bit less, probably about 1/4 of an inch or so. So this is our cable. It's gonna be ready for the connector. As you can see, the two poles red, which will be the plus signal and the minus signal, and our ground. Let's begin with one of our connectors. Whichever one you want to use, it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew this. These usually, they're depending on the brand, it's different the way you open it. Some of them have a screw you have to unscrew to get it out. This one I'll just unscrew the boot of it, which will come back out as this cable grabber. Whenever you put it in, the cable will get pressed and it'll do its function so that it won't hold the connection whenever you pull it out. Once the connector is like this, you need to push it from the front, as you can see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and push it something, and as you can see, this is the piece that comes out on the back. It goes in. So here is where we're gonna have to solder our cable. They have to be in a specific way. Usually is 1 is shield, 2 is plus, and 3 is minus. Sometimes these are referred to as hot signal and cold signal. Hot is a positive, cold is a negative. It really doesn't matter if you put the red or white in one of them, as long as you put it in the same pin as in the other end of the cable. So both connectors, if you take the 3 for red, you have to put the red on number 3 here and the red on number 3 on the other connector, or vice versa. So red and black, and then the shield is always going to be on one. So let's begin with this. I'm going to begin to solder this. You need to be very careful with this because if you heat it up too much, sometimes the piece that's in here gets loose. So you want to try to go as quick as you can to put the solder right here. And what I'm going to do first is add a little bit of solder here, and then add a little bit of solder to the pin where it goes, and just heat it up real quick so that it bonds together. So let's begin with one of the ends. So once we're there, we're gonna have our connectors. We're gonna add just a little bit of solder in here in each one, so that we can just go ahead and put the wires in and they'll solder easily. Okay, so now that we have tinned this, we're going to begin to make the connections of the wires. Like I told you earlier, be careful not to get these too hot, because they'll loosen up from the plastic part that's inside of it. Then you'll ruin your XLR connector. So just be quick with the solder. So what we're gonna do right now is on the connector number 2, which is this one over here, I'm going to connect my hot signal. So what I'll do is I'll give it a little bend so that it's right at the end, right there, and get these one to one side so that I can work with these. And this is a tricky part, because if you're by yourself, you have to find a way to hold the cable so that it goes into the little groove, and then just solder it like so. You do need to leave it set. There we go. Got the right one there. So on the upper here, we got the third connector. That's gonna be our black one. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. We're gonna fold it a little bit, just so that it's not that big. And what I'm also going to do right now is I'm gonna put these other copper cables to one side, because get them ready for where they're gonna go. So we just go ahead and put this in here. I don't know if you could see. And I'm just gonna go ahead with a little bit of solder on the top so that it bonds with it. Okay. I don't know if you could see that. Solder too. And the last pin I got here is going to be for the shield. So this shield that we were getting back, I'm going to cut. I'm just going to stay with some of it because it's a lot and it will not go in there. So I'm just going to stay with a little bit of a strand of it, just like that. And I'm going to cut the rest with the cutting pliers, and then we're just gonna get this one in here. So let's cut all of the excess of it, just all of this. Just not gonna work. And just check if there's any other strands around there, because sometimes they're loose, and if there's any loose strands, they can join with these and your connection is going to be making weird noises and not working properly. So once you have it like that, I will also fold it too, and I'm gonna tin it a little bit. So once again, grab your soldering iron, and we're gonna go ahead and just add some solder there. Yeah. Both sizes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this strand in here. You can see there inside, and I'm just gonna heat that part with a little bit of solder, and we're gonna see how it bonds. As you can see, that is a connector. It's already, so I got my shield on one, my black is on number 3, and my hot is on number 2. So I guess this is all ready to close. One thing I forgot to mention, and you need to do this before. Right now my other end is loose, so I have no problem, but you need to put the boot first. So this is the thing that grabs the cable here. We'll have no problem in adding it afterwards because it has a cut in the middle, and you just kind of open it. Where's the cable in, like so, and then it's in. And then this boot, which I should have put in first before I did everything, I will put on the other end, but just note that whenever you already have the other connector, you have to put that boot first so that your connector will close. Once you have it like this, you can check the connections to see if there are any loose points or if there's any wire that is hanging around there. This one, it's not the best, but it looks okay. So what I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to insert this plastic back into the connector, and That's just a way of matching the, you need to push this way back so that it is like this. This will help you get this connector back into its plastic piece. So once you push this black part all the way to the top, you can now go ahead and insert it as so, like this, and then it'll go all the way down. Once you have it like this, it's just a matter of pushing this boot and beginning to screw it. That screw will tighten the black plastic that's on the bottom, so it'll tighten the cable, and you have a tight XLR connector. So this is everything you need to do to solder it. It's really not that hard, just patience, because when you don't know how to do it, or first times you're soldering, it's just a matter of patience. I will do this other end just to show you the connector is different. It's a male one, so this is the male connector. It's basically the same thing. You push, you unscrew it, and first I will do this before I do anything else, because otherwise I will forget. Put the boot in. Now we have the boot inside the cable, and we can begin peeling this. And this other part, just like the other one, also comes out. You push this plastic, which we can also go ahead and add it here. This one we can go ahead and just open it. A little trouble with it. There we go. So we'll just pull it back so we can work. And just like the other connector, you push in here and we'll have the plastic piece with the connectors. This one is different than the other one, just the way it is, but the principle is the same. 3, 2, and 1. 1 is shield, 3 is hot, 3 is cold, I'm sorry, negative signal, and 2 is positive. So if you can see here, I'm not sure if you could see, but there's also numbers right there, so we know which pin goes to which. I think in the back it also says it, so just a matter of checking them out and you'll see which one goes where. So I'm gonna begin. I'll do this fast, peel it, and I'll show you how to do it fast, and then I'll just show you the last connector, and I'll show you a little test we can do with a multimeter so you can just verify that your connector is okay. So let me do this fast, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so this one was a little bit difficult, but I got them in. Hot signal, cold signal, and my shield this way. So what I'll do again is we're gonna pull this black thing. It's just a kind of like a plastic protector, which will shield the connections from the housing. So we'll just pull it here. This one goes this way, and a little bit short like that. So we're gonna go ahead and the same way we pulled it out. This one has a little notch right here, so you have to look for that notch in the connector, because this one does not have like a guide like the other one, but it's inside. You certainly just have to look for it, and it'll only go in that way. So you push it in and it's all the way in. You'll just have to once again get the boot back once we already pulled, and screw it in, tighten, and we're all set to go. So there's only one thing we can do. Once you have finished your connectors, there's a way to test them. Okay, so once it's been soldered, as we can see here, I will proceed to close it, and I will pull this thing, plastic thing that we got in the beginning, and all we're gonna have to do is push it back into the barrel. Right here, just check where the plug should be. There's like a little, I don't know if you can see there, it's like a little channel that goes through the connector, which also has that there. So there's only one way of going. So push it in all the way through, and we'll pull the boot back, and we'll begin to screw it in, and that will be our connector. So here's a cable. I did this short one just to show you how to do it. Okay, so just to finish up, we're gonna check the continuity of our jack. We're gonna check the continuity of our XLR cable. So for that, we will need a multimeter with a continuity parameter, and as we can see here, it'll tell us where it has continuity. So we shouldn't have any continuity with any of the pins, but the opposite one on the other connector. So here's the first one, has no continuity here, no continuity here, no ground. Okay, check this one. So it's not here, it's not here, it's there, no ground. And we're just gonna check the last one. No there, I have no continuity here, no continuity on this one, and finally that's the one. So all of these pins have to be connected to their opposite on the other connector, and once they're like that and you have no other faulty connections into other ones, your XLR cable should be assembled perfect. So just in case you need to solder it, if you have a cable and suddenly it just not working properly, you can check those connections and just verify that they're soldered, they're not loose, or they're not sticking with another one, and you'll have your XLR cable finished. So if you got any questions, leave them down as a comment, give like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be posting more videos like this, helping you out with some of audio techniques that I know, and I hope they're helpful to you. Thank you.